And a good evening from Watkins Glen International and Watkins Glen, New York. It's week number 2 of the eNASCAR Heat Pro League. Big money is on the line tonight as the trucks take on the Glen. Along with Hannah Newhouse and Rusty Walrus, I'm Adam Mackey bringing you the best in NASCAR Heat Racing. Hannah, tonight's event should be crazy good as we travel to a race course, a road course with 11 turns.
Absolutely, Adam. Looking forward to it. We just saw a glimpse of the excitement that we'll see throughout the season last week at Homestead, Miami. Some rivalries were formed, some exciting racing took place, and we're going to amp that up even more tonight at Watkins Glen. And what better way to do it in the Truck Series? And I'm a little biased. I love the Truck Series. Personally, it always brings out the rough, the raw, the rugged in drivers. And I think we'll see that again tonight at a road course. So if anyone has any animosity between each other that they started maybe in Homestead, there's not a doubt in my mind that we'll see that play out tonight at Watkins Glen.
And Hannah, I'm a little bit censored right now, as you can see. You know, working out the quirks of the new webcam, it was great a few minutes ago, but now I'm just a little bit blurred. Rusty, you're not blurred. You're bright and in living color with that red jacket on again. Tell us about week 2.
Week 2, just like week 1, is going to be so unpredictable. The excitement, the intensity, it's all going to be here tonight. Last year, it came down to the last lap. And last week, we saw 3-4 wide racing, just insanity. And we're going to see just about everything that you can see at Watkins Glen today. The first turn, the last turn, this is setting up for an unbelievable show. The drivers are excited. I'm excited. You can tell. Let's get to the racetrack.
Absolutely. And of course, all of the drivers that we have in competition, 14 on each platform, PS4 as well as Xbox. We're going to see the PS4 racers first tonight. Last week it was the Xbox racers first, but they're in their cockpits. They're getting ready to go. Qualifying is taking place. It's going to be crazy good at a road course. Really looking forward to seeing it. Much better than folks are getting a chance to see me right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you did, Adam, prior to the race here that you need to be censored. So maybe we'll have to have a conversation post-production here. But no, all things aside, these drivers have been practicing all week. They qualified last night. Some strategies that we always talk about, this fuel strategy, and Rusty will get to you a little bit later about that. But road course doesn't allow for a lot of mistakes. These guys can't really push that fuel limit because it's such a large course. They can't probably coast to get back in. So I think that people would be a little bit more conservative here. Am I right, Rusty?
Yes, the distance is very short, so you got to be going for it from the second the green flag drops, but patience is key. I talked to Maxwell Castro before the race. He said you got to slow down to go fast. You got to back up your corners. You can't charge it. You got to take care of it. And you got to take care of yourself and be there at the end and keep it on the track to be there in position for the paycheck and the points at the end of the race.
Much better than mine, we have a view of all of the drivers in tonight's field here on our eNASCAR Heat Pro League broadcast, and we're going to take a look at that right now. Look at all of the drivers getting ready to go. We've got all of them, I think, on our screen, 28 in total set to go tonight. Of course, the first 14 with the PS4 platform. They're excited to get ready to go, and it's fun to look in the cockpits of their simulation rigs as they get ready and go through the racing action tonight, as we saw 1 week ago during our first night of racing at Homestead Miami Speedway. So we're coming up on the first event of the 2 tonight, Hannah, and we're going to take a look at some of the race details on what we've got.
Yeah, and Rusty said it a little earlier. This race is pretty short. Again, we are at a road course, though, and it's almost a 2.5-mile racetrack. So 24 laps around this road course, 3 times the tire wear, full damage. And we saw it in the preseason when we were at Mid-Ohio. These guys wasted no time. They were bumping fenders, pushing each other off of the course, using every aspect of the course that was given them to try and make maneuvers and pass each other. So you would think they'd have to be a little conservative with that full damage and the tire wear. But man, I highly doubt that anyone's going to hold anything back tonight at Watkins Glen.
No, absolutely. And Rusty, a race that doesn't have many laps, but 2.45 miles with 11 turns takes a little while to run.
Yeah, some of these drivers with their custom setups are putting down the fastest laps you've ever seen in the game. And they're going to probably plan on pitting at least twice here tonight. So no, they're not going to be stretching the field. They're going to be going for it, like I said, right off the bat, right as soon as this thing goes green. And this thing is going to be over before you even know it. So they got to get going, like I said, immediately.
Absolutely. The starting lineup has been determined by qualifying, and there's a look at it. Brandon Gritton of Stewart-Haas Esports, champion a year ago. He's going to be on the pole. Position number 1, Nick Jobs of Hendrick Motorsports, starting in the second slot. Row 2, Maxwell Castro and Joey Gornick. And Joey Stone and Kyle Arnold, they make up row number 3, Hannah.
And you saw that driver enter all the cameras there. Joey Stone gave us a wave there. I liked having him in the preseason. But Brandon Hanna, row 4, Josh Parker alongside him. Jason Mitchell with Go Fast Gaming in row 5. Josh Harbin with Levine Family Gaming, a returner, going to try and make his way through the field. And Cody Giles and Mike Bross make up row 6.
It's going to be an exciting event. And rounding out our field, Corey Rothgeb, TJ McGowan. McGowan, a new driver in the JTG Doherty Throttlers, the original driver of the car. Matthew Billingsley has stepped away for personal reasons, so TJ McGowan filling the seat, and he's got a long way to go tonight, starting from row 7, Rusty.
Yes, but the good news is he's a veteran from season 1, so he's bringing in the experience, some comfort into that seat, and that's what you need to be to be put in the car at the last moment, last second. You want to pick a veteran instead of a rookie that can get out there and get the job done right away.
You can see a look down the one of the long stretches of this racetrack. It's high speed and it's woe it down quickly. Brakes playing a part in it. Tell us about, you go into a corner a little too hard and overshoot it, Rusty. You can easily wheel hop or end up off of the racetrack in the grass, and you don't want to do that.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to go on the grass, especially in the inner loop tonight. We have the judges keeping an eye on it. So if they send all 4 tires off in the grass, they'll receive a warning and then potentially a penalty based on their infractions. But the key is really keeping the truck on the track, because if you slow down, you get off track, you're going to lose all your momentum, lose a ton of speed and a ton of time on the racetrack. And if there isn't a yellow that's going to restack and re-rack them, you're just throwing the race away if you make any mistakes. You got to be on it. You got to stay focused, and you got to hit your marks here tonight.
It should be exciting as we get ready for our first of 2 races tonight. Thanks for everybody tuning in. We had a lot of fun in week number 1. We had great racing tonight. Tell us the difference, Rusty, about what you expect to see at a road course with all these turns than what we saw a week ago with a more normal racetrack, an oval track that these drivers are a little more used to.
Yeah, last week at Homestead Miami Speedway, we got exactly what we thought we'd get: 3 wide racing. Today at a road course, you're pretty much single file, but you got to make it 2 wide, or you got to use your bumper to get past the guy in front of you. Because especially when it's time to go late, we saw that last year. We saw some bump and runs down into turn 1. We saw a body slam coming out of the final corner. For the Xbox guys, this is just when you think you got it figured out, they're going to do something different, and it's going to be an unbelievable show here today.
Each of these races tonight, for each platform, paying $2,000 to the winner, $1,000 for the second spot, and $500 for the third spot. Plenty of prize money on the line, and not just for tonight. Prize money all season long. Then the big championship money at the end of the year. And to make the championship race, you have to do one of a couple things. The main thing is you want to finish in the number 1 spot in points in one of the segments. There are 3 segments during the year, 4 races each. So the first 4 races, if you are leading the points as a driver, you are heading into the championship race. And there you go, the grid on the racetrack. On the left side of your screen, you get to take a look at the rundown throughout the race, see where your favorite driver is running. And we'll watch that as the race develops. You get to see at the bottom of the screen some of the drivers throughout the event. Brandon Gritton on the pole, Nick Jobs starting alongside. Those 2 drivers will be bringing the field to green as we are on the pace lap for this event here tonight, Hannah.
And Brandon Gritton and Nick Jobs, 2 veterans now of the eNASCAR Heat Pro League. Nick Jobs with a new team. Brandon Gritton returning, trying to defend that championship. So green flag is in the air here at Watkins. Glen, your 2 veterans leading them into the first corner side by side.
Let's listen to some of the trucks as they roar around Watkins Glen International. Yes, the sound of the NASCAR Heat Pro League tonight. Race number 2 from virtual Watkins Glen International in Watkins Glen, New York. Tonight, the NASCAR Gander RV and Outdoors Truck Series taking the track, and Brandon Gritton leading the way over Jobs and Castro, Hannah.
They've managed to single file their way out there, but a great looking Kroger car that you see there. Everyone being patient early on thus far. We got a truck that's tailed back a little bit there. Looks like it could be Joe Gornick in the 7 for Junior Motorsports. Had a little wobble early on there right at the drop of the green flag. Saw him go way off the course, so he has lost the pack for the most part. But Brandon Gritton, your leader there for Stuart Haas Gaming, able to put a little distance between himself and Nick Jobs. And I love the fact, again, they're using the entire course all the way across the rumple strip, using every piece of surface they can here.
And it's very similar to what we see during the course of real racing on TV when NASCAR visits Watkins Glen International. Brandon Gritton, your leader here early on. Jobs, Castro, Arnold, Stone, as the trucks roar by and head into the loop. And you see flying down through the grass a little bit, not making any passes while doing so. And Rusty Walrus, it can be very difficult getting through the inner loop and trying to keep your speed up.
Yeah, the inner loop is probably the key of the entire lap. That's where you can make the most time or lose the most time. And you got to really stay focused to make sure you hit your marks to keep the momentum through there. And that way you can get down through the carousel, down towards the backstretch. But that's where you're going to see seconds won or lost in both these races here today.
Down to 23 laps to go in this event as the laps tick off early. Pretty clean and green so far, and Brandon Gritton not really getting away. Watches second and third. Jobs and Castro enter the corner all the way down to the bottom, almost to the strips. Doesn't upset the truck till he goes across here, but they keep the momentum up and stay in line with Jobs and the Ally number 25 running in second. We ride along right now with Maxwell Castro in the number 1 truck and has a pretty good run coming up on the second spot. Hannah?
Castro eyeing every move that Nick Jobs make there. You see him wobble throughout the corners, held steady in the straight there through the S's. They've got to keep up that momentum, and as you can see there, Castro able to pull more momentum than Jobs, so he'll look to make a move on the inside through the corner here. Unable to do that though. Jobs with a great run off the corner, and you can see both of them here in the lower bottom of your screen. Jobs literally up on the wheel. He is driving almost over top of his wheel. That's what I used to look like when I used to drive late models, but I'm only 5'4", so I had to be as close to the steering wheel as possible. But Nick Jobs making sure that he is doing everything in his power to keep Castro behind him.
And he's going to have to do a lot more because Castro is all over him for that number 2 spot. We see him cross to complete another lap. 21 laps to go. The pit window, Rusty, is about 9 or 10 laps, meaning we should see probably 2 pit stops during the course of this race. Pit stops and strategy played a part a week ago, and I would think it will again here tonight.
Yes, most of the drivers will probably stay on the same type of pattern, same type of schedule here today. Going 9 laps, pitting, staying out another 9 laps, and then the final run being 6 laps. But you might see some guys towards the back pit early in case, because if a caution comes out, that'll almost invert the field and give them an advantage and they'll go from last to first place. So I'm keeping my eye on about 7th, 8th on back. Mike Bratz, Cody Giles to see if they'll pit early here before the leaders come in to hopefully gamble and have that payoff for them later in the race.
We've seen the leader, Brandon Gritton, a couple of times go through the grass. We're going to call him an excavator. I think he's working some dirt around a couple of times as he's using it all up on edge, but it's working right now as he leads. We ride along now with the 4th place competitor, Kyle Arnold, in the Geico Military, number 13 truck. He's riding from the 4th position. The battle for second continues between Jobs and Castro, Hannah.
And Kyle Arnold, a returner here in the eNASCAR Heat.
Oh, look out.
Same team as well. Ooh, great move there by Castro. Looks like he about rear-ended Brandon Gritton, your leader. So Brandon Gritton dropping like a rock there, back down to 5th place there. May have just missed that corner there. Came out too wide. So Nick Jobs, now your new leader here.
That is such a huge story. Gritton, we said he was using up a lot of racetrack and a lot of real estate going off into the grass. There we see Arnold do the same. We also see the Ally machine go off track of Jobs momentarily. Action heating up from Watkins Glen International, Rusty.
Are you kidding me? We're too wide for the lead. Maxwell Castro, Nick Jobs as we're heading down. Oh my goodness, with lap traffic in the way. Patience is out the window. Maxwell Castro is looking on the outside here, and he's about to lead his first laps in the Pro League.
Oh!
There's contact! Oh my goodness! Oh.
Wow, crazy, crazy racing right now as we see a battle for the lead. Jobs, Castro side by side as they enter a right-hander. Oh, more contact, look out! Castro off the racetrack, but he keeps it in the right direction. Holy cow, racing exciting at Watkins Glen, Hannah.
Wow, being on the outside of that corner there is not where you want to be. Drivers taking each other all the way to the wall, and you saw it there using lap cars as a pick. Nick Jobs able to use that lap car as a pick, though. Now your leader. That's allowed Kyle Arnold to really start to reel in on Jobs there. But again, momentum through those S's, and I think this has become a weak point of Nick Jobs. Unable to really get through those S's without wobbling, and that's allowed the field to come in on him. I would not want to be looking in the rearview mirror of Nick Jobs right now.
Watching as they run side by side toward the front of the pack, and we've had a few others join the battle as well. It's about a 5-truck battle at the front of our field. They're still side by side for the lead. Good smooth move to the inside. Now on the outside, heading into the right-hander. It is Jobs leading, Arnold in second, making some contact as well. Rusty?
This is as good as it gets. Kyle Arnold is looking for the lead. Everyone out in the YouTube community knows him as Red 4424. He's taught everyone the basics about setups, and he's taken his custom setup to the point. But Sloppy Joe looking on the inside for second place. And they're going to have to fight for it up the hill through the S's.
Watching as the battle continues, Jobs holds on to the lead. Stone has made that number 8 move into now the top 5 and into the top 2. Second spot as shuffling continues. Third place changes hands as Castro's back up into the top 3, and it's far from over. You can see all of the marks, the dirt tire marks where drivers have gone through the grass, going through the inner loop as we're nose to tail heading through the right-hander.
And what I love is no one took the same line through any of those corners. You watch them all fan out, trying different lines, trying to keep momentum, and all of them driving the wheels off of these race trucks. But 18 laps to go here. We're starting to close in on a fuel window. And again, this brings up Rusty's point of, will someone take that risk and pit early? But with such a great battle going on at the front of the field right now, Rusty, you have to wonder, is anyone going to take that risk for track position?
Yeah, if there's a crew chief out there, they're definitely speaking in the driver's ears in the back of the pack. Like, you got to pit now, because up front there could be a wreck or a caution any corner, any second here. This is absolute madness up there. So I'm taking the gamble if I'm Mitchell or Rothgeb at the back. But these leaders, they're going to stay out in battle until they run out of fuel here.
Continue under green. It hasn't gone without any mishaps, and a lot of the mishaps have happened right in the top 5. There you take a look at the Joey Stone number 8 truck. Joey Stone driving the ride, sponsored by Cat Rental here in this race. 17 laps to go, getting in that fuel window where it's going to be time to pit. Jobs leads in the Ally 25. There's Stone in the lower left, Castro in the lower right of your screen as we ride along with them in this heated battle as it continues here tonight at Watkins Glen International. And now he picks up, close to being contacted at the last moment. Stone gave him room, and here come pit stops. On the pit road they go, Hannah.
Castro almost into the back bumper there of Nick Jobs. Really had to check up there to make sure he didn't take Jobs. But as you can see, almost the entire field now coming down. Joey Stone electing not to come down pit road. You have to wonder if that was a mistake, if that was an accident, that he missed pit road, because he was on the outside of those other 2 drivers. So there you have it. Jobs, Castro, Kyle Arnold, Brandon Gritt, and Josh Harbin. Pretty much everyone down to 10th place with the exception of your leader, now down pit road. And that's going to recycle everyone, like you'd mentioned, Rusty. Kyle McGowan's going to be cycled out of the front of the field.
Yeah, but I'm really curious if Sloppy Joe's going to have enough fuel to make it back to the pits. 1 week ago at Homestead, Sloppy thought he had the strategy figured all out, that he was going to win the race, and the next thing you knew, he ran out of fuel and putted down to pit road. So hopefully he can make it back here into the pit stops and refuel up here. But this is a cool redemption story in the works right now for Joey Stone. But do not sleep on Maxwell Castro. He's putting on a show right now as he's looking for the lead on Nick Jobs.
Watch him go down as they continue to battle it out. Now it's going to be side by side. Here we go, looking low, dropping back in line. Castro right on the rear on the tailgate. Now he slows down a little bit earlier going into the, oh, look out, missing the corner and off the racetrack. Jobs, the second place truck. Oh man, all kinds of trouble tonight for drivers in our top 5 running for lead spots.
Castro now able to somewhat walk away with that lead, almost a second between him and Nick Jobs. And Rusty, I'll bring you back into this. This is the first time that the entire field is now running wheels. And I know some of these guys are predominantly players with controllers, so now everyone being on wheels, is there anyone in the front of the field that you can point out, having known these guys, that has had to make that transition to a wheel and maybe affecting their running tonight?
You know, maybe in a positive way for most of the field. A Sloppy Joe comes out of pit road first ahead of Maxwell Castro, but Sloppy Joe, Joey Stone, was a controller driver. He made the transition, as you can see, over to the Fanatec wheel, and he has made that transition super smooth, and he's leading laps out here. But drivers do know that there is a bit of a learning curve going from the controller to the wheel, but once you get it figured out, and we're side by side through the interloop of the bus stop, huge contact with Castro and Joey for the lead.
Hey, who says you can't go side by side through the inner loop? I think they did it, and that was some of the cleaner racing we've seen. It's been pretty crazy tonight as that battle continues for Stone and Castro, your lead competitors. Stone in the lead, driving the Cat rental truck number 8. Off the track he goes, a little bit of a tighter turn for the second place competitor as we watch him still nose to tail coming down to complete yet another lap here at Watkins Glen International. This one has been very good so far, and we're just right about at the halfway mark. It isn't even down the stretch where they're going to get really wild, Hannah.
Kyle Arnold in that catbird seat there, watching these two battle it out, knowing again, we've seen drivers at the front of the field miss turns, be shuffled out of position. So Arnold waiting to take advantage of that moment and jump. He continues to ride in that third spot. Your top 3, though, have now broken away from the rest of the field. Almost a 3.5-second lead between themselves and 4th place of Nick Jobs. So class of the field tonight so far, Maxwell Castro, Joey Stone, and Kyle Arnold. Those two continuing to swap back and forth. Looks like Stone's going to take a shot there for the lead. Bump and run for the lead there. Arnold's going to follow him through. These guys are looking at 3 wide situations every single lap.
It is crazy how close we are at the front of the field. It's the eNASCAR Heat Pro League, week number 2 tonight of 14 races, and the action continues to be crazy at the front of the field. Contact between the top 2, Stone in the 8, Castro in the 1. Oh, Castro drops back 2 spots to the 3rd position. Arnold, the new leader, Rusty.
This is like the greatest Watkins Glen race I've ever seen. The swaps for the lead, the contact. This is why I love NASCAR. This is the truck series. This is the best show in the world right here, right now. Look at the contact here with this 3-truck race. But Sloppy Joe, he is determined to pick up this victory as Kyle Arnold starts to pull away a little bit. But I'm telling you, this is not over between the 1 truck and the 8 of Sloppy Joe.
I was watching Stone in the lower left of the screen in his cockpit, and you could tell he wasn't happy. He was mad about something, probably the way the race is. He's in the 2nd spot, but it's got to be intense driving these things right now. And for the folks watching at home, they can race these trucks. They can race cars. We've had the NASCAR Cup Series a week ago. Tonight, the truck's on track. We see Xfinity during the course of the NASCAR Pro League season. They get a chance to run this. All they have to have is Xbox or PS4. They can go out and get the game and compete with their family, their friends, their neighbors. What a great time they can have. These drivers tonight are maybe more than a great time. It's an intense time for these competitors, Hannah.
That it is. You see the intensity written all over their face when we get the chance to tune into their cockpit there. They're all focused right now, but these guys do have a lot of fun. I know they race outside of the NASCAR Heat Pro League very frequently throughout the race, and if you're looking to get into it, reach out to these guys. I know a lot of them have YouTube channels and they want to bring fans in and allow them to race with them. Again, you can race at home with your family with NASCAR Heat. It's also on your phone. I don't know about you guys, I am scared to look at the screen time reports that I get on my phone every week. And so what a great opportunity to be a little productive with that time and play some NASCAR Heat on your mobile phone. But again, 12 laps to go here at Watkins Glen. Kyle Arnold now being tracked down by Joey Stone. Castro dropped back a little bit out of the battle for the lead now.
So unique tonight, Rusty. The trucks at Watkins Glen International. This is a really unique race with the trucks racing here, especially for the eNASCAR Heat Pro League. And we wondered how they would do at this racetrack, and they've showed a lot to us here over the first part of this race.
Yeah, these pro drivers are very versatile. You put them in any car, any track, and they're going to try to figure out and make it go fast. But that's what I love about NASCAR Heat. The trucks haven't ran at Watkins Glen in about 20 years. But the Heat Pro League decides, let's do it, let's put on a show, and that's exactly what we're getting here today, and I'm loving every second of this.
Right now, Arnold leading. You see him in the lower left of the screen. He's driving the Geico Military number 13 machine for Germain Racing. Riding along right now with Stone, Joey Stone. He's a driver out of Canton, Georgia, driving the Cat rental truck number 8 tonight. Castro running behind them in the third spot. But right now, we're watching our top two. As you see, the trucks make their way through the right-handed corner, go all the way across the berm, over the rumble strip, use up all of the asphalt that they can possibly use up, and plus, they use a lot of grass up too, Hannah.
That they do. Doing some lawn maintenance here for Watkins Glen, preparing it for later in the season potentially. But again, Kyle Arnold, you're being tracked down by Joey Stone. I would love to see Joey Stone and Kyle Arnold, both of them, get a win. But Joey Stone, we had him in the booth with us for the preseason, helped call some of the races for us. And he's hands down one of the most animated drivers in the field. Every time we get a chance to talk to him, he is so outgoing and gets so excited about this. And so I always love seeing the emotion that these guys have when they get a good run. And he's a returner, so he's back with RCR this year. And he wants to prove there's a reason why he's back with that team, and he's doing exactly that. Ooh, check up there by Arnold. Joey Stone had to get on the brakes there to almost not take him out.
Yeah, they were going into the inner loop, and it was a tight moment as Stone, a little bit later braking than what we saw Arnold do. He was trying to set up the turn a little sooner than Stone, and Stone almost ran him over. They are the top two, Arnold and Stone. First and second, Castro, Jobs, Giles. They make up the top 5 right now. We're on the final 10 laps of this race for PS4 gamers tonight in the eNASCAR Heat Pro League from Watkins Glen International and Watkins Glen, New York. I'm Adam Mackey. With me tonight, Hannah Newhouse and Rusty Walrus. And Rusty, you get excited about this game. You know what it's like to play it a lot. And these drivers are really working the wheel tonight in their cockpits at home.
Yeah, when we're coming down to less than 10 to go, you're giving it everything you have. Your adrenaline has got to be going nuts. I mean, mine isn't. I'm just watching. So these drivers, they're giving it everything they have, working the wheel. As you can see, Kyle Arnold, his driving style kind of matches his personality. He's kind of just smooth, cool, and calm. Whereas Sloppy Joey Stone, he's aggressive. He's going for it. As Arnold's off the track a little bit here, and Joey's getting a big run down the carousel.
And now we take into the a long right-handed corner here. It takes them a while where they can get back on the throttle. Tire wear starting to play a part in this, I'm sure, as well. As Rusty, tire wear tonight ×3. We've talked about that last week as well. When the tire wear's ×3, it means it's 3 times quicker than what it would normally be in a race, so they wear very fast. It makes these trucks hard to handle, am I right?
Yes, at every racetrack in the game, you can decide how much tire you want to put into the game. The accessibility from making it feel like real life, where you burn off the tires if you charge the corn too hard. If you spin them coming off the corner, you can just get rid of all that good, the good Goodyear on them. Like if you save them, it pays off on the long run, and that's what the pros are so good at doing. Is they set up their car and they put in the laps to be able to put in the smooth, clean laps, so that way the tires don't wear and they can still put up the super fast lap times, as we saw Castro pull in the pits to get some new set of 4 tires right as we hopped on board there with Joey Stone.
Riding along right now with the Cat rental store truck driven by Stone. He leads the race. He did not go to the pits when 2 of the other top 3 came to pit road, and most of the drivers right now are on pit road. First and second still on track, but then you saw for a moment there about the next 5 or 6 in our rundown were on pit road, and some of them exiting pit road now. There's the 13 of Arnold, the Geico military truck, running in the 3rd position, way behind right now, but that'll be different when things cycle after pit stops, Hannah.
That they will. We'll see a mix-up in the field, but I think once again we'll see the cream somewhat rise to the crop. This could be exactly the break, though, that someone like Jobs needs, as well as Castro, to be able to catch up to that field. But Joey Stone, again, your current leader. Josh Harbin, as you can see on your scoring pylon, dipped down pit road. So Stone now on a completely different pit cycle compared to everyone else. Will be interesting to see how this all shakes out.
Watching the Geico military truck running right now in the 3rd position. Has already gone to the pits. That's Kyle Arnold, who we've seen in the top 3 for much of this race. Not far behind is Castro running in the 4 spot. Castro driving the number 1 truck. And just several truck lengths behind there, Rusty. These 2 drivers may be shaking down to be 1st and 2nd here in just moments.
Yeah, Castro has closed the gap to Kyle Arnold, and it's going to be interesting where Joey Stone cycles through on these pit stops, but Castro might have him where he wants him. He's just been kind of hanging back there, keeping the gap about a second, but he closed it up to under a second as Kyle Arnold stretching out a little bit here up the hill.
And to talk a little further about that, Rusty, is there any advantage for Stone to stay out so long?
Yes, so as you run green flag laps, the less fuel you have in your car, you're actually going to go faster on the racetrack. So this is according to plan for Joey Stone. He wants to come in and pit at the absolute least, with the least amount of laps to go, come in, put 4 tires on it, and almost no gas. So that way this car is going to be lightning fast when he resumes the track and cycles back in with these leaders. So it should be a big advantage for Joey Stone.
We'll see how it shakes down. He ran definitely a couple more laps than a few of the competitors that came to pit road a little earlier. 6 laps to go. Now crossing the line down to the final 5 laps to go, Hannah. We are closing in on determining a winner tonight for the PS4 console. Arnold leads the way after the pit stops made. Stone drops back to 2nd, now to 3rd after that late pit stop. So that's going to shuffle him back a little bit. We'll see if he recovers. He's not too far behind.
That he's not, and he's got to run 6 qualifying laps here at Watkins Glen to be able to reel in Castro, but fortunately less than a second separates him and Castro. Looks like he's running pretty well. Castro trying to reel in your leader of Kyle Arnold there. Kyle, though, has just been dominant tonight. He's been up there up front with Castro and Stone as well as Nick Jobs. He's been able to get that break, get out front, and that's exactly what he needed. And you'd mentioned it, Rusty. He's been someone that's been around, helped a lot of these guys get these baseline setups, but looks like he might have had just a few secrets left up his sleeve that he didn't quite share with everyone to be able to set him apart tonight at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, the veteran Kyle Arnold has taken them to school. He gave everybody his notes, but he didn't show them all the secrets. He had a couple things up his sleeve here for tonight, but this is absolutely insane. We're coming down to 5 to go here. Get your popcorn ready. Joey Stone's going to be on a mission to work his way forward. Castro, the rookie, is trying to get his first ever win in his like basically his 2nd race ever. I don't know what's going to happen, except a lot of contact and maybe some tempers flaring after the race.
Wild right now, and now officially down to 5 laps to go at the Glen. Arnold leads, Castro 2nd, Stone 3rd, Jobs and Giles rounding out the top 5. Mitchell's just out of the top 5 and 6. Harbin, Rothgeb, Britton, McGowan. You can see the rundown on the left of your screen. You see the differences. Stone has fallen behind by 1.8 seconds after staying out a little bit longer, Hannah. Doesn't look like he's closing the gap at this point.
That he's not. He's dropped like a stone. But you can just go ahead and send the Dad Joke Award my way. But Stone now looks like out of the running with 5 laps to go. I do. Thank you. Thank you. I've been working on that all evening. Castro,
I'll have to work on it. I've got a long way to go tonight.
There.
Absolutely, Hannah. As we watch the 13 of Arnold leading the way, Castro in 2nd, Stone in 3rd, Giles, Jobs 4th and 5th. Down to the final stages for tonight's event. For the PS4 platform, boy, that 13 of Arnold really looking good through the corner there. He's hugging it tight, looking perfect in that 13 Geico military truck, and he can't make any mistakes because we're riding along now again with the GW, the Gear Wrench, sponsored entry of Castro, and Castro's ready to pounce, Rusty.
Castro is right there, but Kyle Arnold, as he said, is not making any mistakes. He's super smooth out there. And the thing Castro's got to be careful of is trying to make up too much ground in one spot. He's got to kind of pick up little chunks here and there because if he goes off the track, he's going to lose everything he gained, and that might open the door for Joey Stone. But this is going to be your battle for the win as we're closing down the finish of this race.
Final 4 laps of the event. And then, of course, we have the Xbox gamers. They're getting ready to go for their event here at Watkins Glen International. Arnold continuing to lead. Down to the final 3 laps. Castro, Stone, and Giles trying to close the gap. I think right now Castro's the only one within striking distance. But if these top 2 close in on one another and get into a heated battle, that could allow Stone, that could allow Giles to close that gap, Hannah.
That it could. Joey Stone is hoping for exactly that. He wants to see Castro reel in your leader of Kyle Arnold, but Kyle says not today. Has extended that lead almost to a second as they go through the S's, and he executes those very well, not losing any ground to Castro here and through the sweeping corner. Not only does Kyle Arnold want this win, but we talked about it in the pre-race. $2,000 goes to that winner, $1,000 to second place. So while that's a lot of money, that's a pretty good gap between first and second place. So Castro wants that extra $1,000, and Kyle Arnold is trying to go home $2,000 richer tonight.
And wins also very important in the points race and helping you garner a lot of points trying to win segment number 1 after 4 races to put you into the championship race. That's how you get in after the first segment. Right now, Arnold trying to garner all the points that he can here tonight and claim the extra prize money. He leads the way. Castro, Stone, Giles, the top 4. Jobs rounding out the top 5. Saw Jobs have a great run 1 week ago. Down to the final 2 laps for the PS4 gamers at Watkins Glen International, Rusty.
Look at Castro go. He's giving it everything he has. He's going to the bus stop for the penultimate time. He's got to go. He has to go. You can't wait any longer to try to make up any ground. I know he did say elite coming into the race. You got to go slow to go fast, but it's go time, baby. Castro, I want to see this rookie try to close in on the vet and see if I want to see some contact, but Kyle Arnold is the man right now.
Arnold is the man. He comes from Georgia. Kyle Arnold, the Germain Gaming, sponsored by Geico Military, leading the way down to the final laps of this one. Castro, he's running in the second spot from Sacramento, California. And he's ready to make a move, closing the gap as we cross the line. 1 to go. He buries it into turn number 1, and it will be Castro taking the lead, Hannah.
That he does, uses a pick, sets him up, and takes the lead. Castro waited till that final lap, the last one that counts. Kyle Arnold looking to track him back down and make a move. It's going to come down to these S turns through here. Does Kyle Arnold have enough in the tank to retaliate and get to Castro? And if he does, what move will he make, considering Castro with a little bump and run to take that lead?
Oh, there might be more contact coming. Might have missed that corner a little bit after the inner loop, but he's recovering nicely. 0.4 of a second behind, but he's right there within striking distance. On the final lap, $2,000 on the line. The NASCAR Heat Pro League from Watkins Glen International. Who can do it? He's closing the gap down to just under 0.4, closing even quicker. He's there, ready to make a move. Can Castro hold him off? Some contact. Castro hanging on, coming to the checkered. Look out sideways. Into the fence they go. Big crash at the front of the field. Castro crossing the line. Stone crossing, I believe, in second. Giles taking third. Unbelievable finish tonight for the PS4 gamers from Watkins Glen. Oh my.
Oh my goodness.
Rusty, Hannah, crazy.
Face. They weren't sure who won. Castro completely in disbelief down there. Honestly, I wasn't sure who won either for quite some time. Wow.
Rusty, I don't know, maybe some tempers flaring pit side in our virtual pits tonight. What do you think?
Yeah, we saw the live look at those two drivers, disbelief, shock. Nobody knows what happened. They're coming out of the corner. That was the craziest finish I've ever seen at Watkins Glen. I need to see a replay. Are you kidding me? That's what this is about. I love that.
That makes great highlights right there, no question, as our PS4 platform racers tonight put on an amazing race. Amazing down the stretch. Hannah, road courses can be pretty exciting, and that one was exciting from start to finish.
Well, like I said in the pre-race, trucks are one of my favorites, and then throw them on road course. I've been fortunate to work multiple road courses with the trucks over the years. And I don't know about you guys, but I just saw a Nemechek Cole Custer last lap at Canada
turf.
just play out there. So fortunately, let's hope no virtual punches are thrown on the front stretch, because that was phenomenal. That's what people come to road courses for. That's the excitement. I'm sure there is going to be some disagreement, some tempers between those two. I can only imagine what is going on in Discord right now with all of these drivers, because there's going to be a couple that are not thrilled with the others. But from a standpoint, from the booth, from the fans that were watching, wow. I mean, we have a whole nother race after this, you guys.
Social media might be pretty interesting for these drivers after that wild race as well. That might be where the virtual punches take place. Rusty, a
we know
crazy
some of the guys
event.
with the team.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Hannah.
We know the guys with the teams that run the social media accounts, they love having some fun with it. So I'm waiting for the social media guys that I know are hanging out watching to fire up those, because they love getting involved in this.
Oh, it doesn't get any better than that.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, no question. A lot of fun to watch here tonight. Probably a lot of fun driving these trucks as well here at Watkins Glen International. And the most fun, of course, if you cross the line in first place and didn't get wrecked on the final corner of the event, I would imagine, as sure as we get ready to take a look at the results from the Glen tonight. There's an overhead view of the racetrack and all the corners that the PS4 gamers just got done racing. Maxwell Castro claims the win in the Chip Ganassi Gaming #1. Joey Stone takes second. Cody Giles takes third. Kyle Arnold, great run, ends up fourth tonight. Nick Jobs, Jason Mitchell, Brandon Gritton was leading and crashed, and it moved him back, eventually finishing in the 7th spot. Hannah?
Cody Giles, like you said, snuck into that 3rd spot due to the misfortune of Kyle Arnold. But Corey Rothgeb in 8th. Josh Harbin coming home in 9th place. The newcomer, the replacement there of TJ McGowan in 10th. Mike Bross, 11th. Brandon Hanna in 12th. And some unfortunate luck for Josh Parker and Joe Gornick early on in the race, both going laps down and rounding out your field.
It was an exciting one from Watkins Glen. I'm excited to see the Xbox gamers coming up here in just a few moments. Of course, this one claimed by Maxwell Castro from Sacramento, California. The driver standings, which are very, very important, Rusty. Nick Jobs and Maxwell Castro, a tie right now. 59 points after 2 races of 4 races in this first segment.
Yeah, we're halfway through this segment, but every point matters as you try to clinch your way into the championship race. And a tie, the tie at the top of the board with Nick Jobs and Maxwell Castro, a veteran and a rookie. That's kind of telling the story that these rookies this year have stepped up to the plate to compete with the veterans. I can't wait to see what happens in the next 2 weeks of this segment.
Slate number 2, these are drivers that are going to have to step it up quickly and do so in the next 2 weeks if they want to compete to try to get in. Of course, McGowan in the 14th position taking over here in week number 2. But tonight, in this race, the first of 2 races tonight from the Glen, the PS4 drivers, it was all about Maxwell Castro. And right now, Hannah Newhouse is headed down to Victory Lane. She's with him. Hannah?
And virtual Victory Lane, that is joined with our winner now here of Maxwell Castro. That last lap, we were all on at edge of our seats here calling it. What's going through your mind coming down that last straight shoot side by side for the win?
Oh man, it was insane. The Gear Wrench Chevrolet was really fast, and I just knew I had to stay ahead of him, and I knew he was going to take a shot at me in the last turn, because I mean, it's for the win. It's a pro league win. This is huge. And he did take a shot at me in the last turn, and it gave my truck damage. And as I got off the turn, I was spinning sideways, and it caught left, and next thing I know, we were side by side into the wall, and it ruined Red's race, and that's not how we race here, and I feel really bad about that. The truck was just excellent today. It was absolutely amazing, and we put on a heck of a show. That was amazing.
Yeah, that you guys did put on a phenomenal show. We were excited the entire time, but some of the conversation, you're the newcomer. You were racing against the veterans of Joey Stone and Kyle Arnold. What does it mean to you and your team as well to be in the second race here of the Pro League, be the newcomer, and capture a win at Watkins Glen?
Oh, it's incredible. I mean, I know I'm here for a reason, and that reason's the win, but I never thought it would happen in my second race. I wish it was cleaner. I wish we got to keep it straight coming to line. But I mean, I have the utmost respect for Kyle Arnold and Joey Stone. I race those guys every week, and we always have clean races. That was just crazy, a crazy finish. I have so much respect for these guys.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again. $2,000 richer. Extra points in your pocket as we have 2 more races left in this segment. Congratulations on your win, Maxwell.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. And Gear Wrench and Chip Ganassi Game. Thank you.
That's your winner of tonight's PlayStation race from Watkins Glen. But we're going to take a quick break here. But stay tuned because we're going to go Xbox racing here in just a little while.
Rated E for everyone.
And welcome back to Watkins Glen International. There you take a look at the racetrack that just had an amazing race moments ago come to a close for the PS4 platform gamers. Coming up, we have the Xbox gamers. And Rusty, let's take a look at tonight's facts for race 2.
Yeah, once again, this is a 24-lap race, so it's a short sprint. You saw every lap matter in the PlayStation race. They were going for it as soon as the green flag dropped, and it does have the 3-time tire wear, so it does play a factor with the timing of your pit stop and as well as fuel. And then the full damage. We saw a lot of contact out there. That does also play a part, and hopefully you can save your car to the end when you need it to get that bump and run for the victory.
And much like the first race, we'll see a couple of pit stops during the course of the event. And here's the starting lineup for race number 2 tonight from the Glen. The Xbox drivers. Fast qualifier from Germain Gaming, Daniel Buttafuco. Then Justin Brooks, he qualified second. Row 2, Lewis Zader and Nick Walker. Slade Gravett and Brian Tedeschi make up row number 3. Hannah?
Strong front row you've got there. The kid that swept the preseason and last week's winner, Diego Alvarado. In row 4 there, Sam Morris outside of him. Matthew Selby, the newcomer to Stuart Haas Esports in row 5. Matthew Heel with Gibbs Gaming this season in row 5. Tyler Dohar with Junior Motorsports and Mitch Diamond make up row 6.
Final 2 drivers from qualifying making the field make up positions 13 and 14. Jose Ruiz starts on the inside of Riley Ogle. That's your starting lineup. This race getting ready to take the green in moments from the Glen. I don't know if they can live up to the expectations that we saw of race number 1. Crazy event, Rusty, for the PS4 drivers and now the Xbox drivers. Can they even come close to matching that?
I cannot wait to see how they're going to respond to what we just saw. I know my adrenaline's going crazy, so those drivers have to be amped up and hyped up, ready to go on the racetrack. Maybe they're anticipating some contact. Maybe they're deciding they got to go for it right away. We could see an even more aggressive race play up in front of us and maybe see some yellows that'll completely shake up the field and the strategy. So anything can happen here on the Xbox side. I can't wait to see what happens.
One thing I noticed in the first race, of course, being a road course, less yellow flags typically are thrown. We did not see a yellow in that first race. If you make a mistake and end up off track, spinning out, crashing, really hard to recover if a yellow flag doesn't come out, Hannah.
That it is. Like you said, we didn't see a yellow flag in the PlayStation race. Therefore, everyone who had mapped out their strategies, their fuel strategies, were able to play into those playbooks. But at a place like a road course, we often see crew chiefs having to call audibles, last-minute pit stops, coming in early. And I think that will be an opportunity where we'll really shake the field up. In that PlayStation race, we saw about half the field, if not 3/4 of the field, on the same pit strategy. The outsider of Joey Stone making a different pit strategy. I would like to see a caution play out here to see how it would shake up people's strategy.
A little bit of late race info. One of our drivers, Nick Walker from Frankton, Indiana, missed the drivers' meeting, and he has been put to the back of the field. So that's a late race change right before we start the event. And there's the field on the track, moments away from taking the green, Rusty. It's about to get exciting again.
Yeah, look at the front row. We have Daniel Buttafuco and Justin Brooks. A little bit, I think, of a competitive rivalry form in here. These guys lead laps. These guys compete for wins every week, and I think this is going to be a preview of what we'll see the rest of the season. But I'm kind of disappointed to see Nick Walker start in the back. He was competitive last year, battled down to the last corner with Justin Brooks. But keep an eye on the 6 car to see him put on a show. We'll go from back to the front as we're about to go green.
The top two, they'll bring the field to green. Buttafuco and Brooks side by side, bringing the field to what will be the green flag for 25 laps of action, a couple of pit stops during the course of this race, and likely a lot of entertaining action throughout as they come down to the final corner, getting ready for green at Watkins Glen International. The virtual Watkins Glen, Hannah Newhouse, Rusty Walrus. I'm Adam Mackey bringing you the action of race number 2 of our coverage tonight. It's the eNASCAR Heat Pro League, and it's underway from the Glen. Already 3 wide as we head into the first corner. It took very little time to get crazy, Hannah.
Wasted no time. None of them did, but Daniel Buttafuco able to get out to an early lead there. But Sam Morris sliding in front of Justin Brooks. Lewis Zader follows him through. So Brooks now shuffled back to that 4th position. Still side by side, about 3rd through 7th back. Hornet's Nest midway through the field here, but everyone... Woo! I was going to say everyone about to be calm going through the S's, but they did not do that. Bouncing off of each other through those S's.
No, they put a lot of dirt out of the S's, or out of the inner loop there onto the racetrack. There you see the Rowdy Energy entry. Running back in the 8th spot, that was Heel. We're riding along with the Oscar Mayer machine, looking on at the field in front of them. They start to spread out a little bit. No side-by-side now, and just as I say it, having to move over was the 3 truck, the American Ethanol machine. Had to move over at the last moment because of the Oscar Mayer machine. Got to run, and we're 3 wide in front of him. Gets a little bit tight there, Rusty.
Check out as we're right on board with Nick Walker, started last, and he's 3 wide, about to send it off into turn 1. And that gorgeous Oscar Mayer Wienermobile designed by Luke Creative as he's making his way all the way up into, it looks about 8th spot. Huge progress made by Nick Walker early on.
Yeah, and it's a big disadvantage starting at the back of the pack like that with the way the field gets spread out, Hannah. Walker's got his work cut out for him, but he's already picked up 5 or 6 spots.
Walker is no stranger to this type of strategy. Last year during the Pro League, multiple times, unfortunately, he either missed the driver's meeting, had an internet failure, something just didn't pan out in his favor and had to start at the back of the pack. But he collected 2 wins from the back of the pack, one of those being at a road course. So like Rusty had mentioned, Nick Walker is no stranger to making his way from the back to the front. Road courses are one of his strong suits, so I would expect to see him pick his way through the field, pan out a good strategy, and potentially be there at the end. But guys, we've got some beautiful looking trucks out there this evening. Some different paint schemes. We've got some different liveries as well with their sponsors. But beautiful race trucks we have on the racetrack.
That we do, and we've got a battle right now as Tedeschi picks up a spot. You see Tedeschi had a pretty good run going last week. The Pennzoil machine up a position as runs right ahead of the Chevy Goods number 5 of Morris. Rounding out our top 5 right now, 4th, 5th, and 6th in a pretty tight battle. Buttafuco's built up almost a 1-second advantage on Zader, Rusty.
Yeah, Buttafuco, this is what we're expecting to see out of this driver. In the preseason, he won at Mid-Ohio, and he competes, like I said, every week up front, and he extends the lead. I'm curious how his other rival that I'm looking at, Luis Zader in the 42 at Chip Ganassi Gaming, how he's going to do in 2nd place, as Justin Brooks is shockingly falling back a little bit. Last week, Justin Brooks fell back. But as the race went on, he started clicking laps and went all the way to the front. So even though he's 3 seconds back in 3rd, Justin Brooks is a long ways to go, and I think we're gonna see a battle for the lead.
Sam Morris out of East DuPont, Indiana, riding in that number 5 truck. It's some contact taking place. The Chevy Goods machine and the Ford machine side by side as we head down to complete yet another lap across the line. 21 laps to go. Buttafuco leading by 1.2, almost 1.3 seconds as we continue to watch the battle. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, really heating up. That's where the most action's taking place, Hannah.
Selby is in protect mode there, like you'd mentioned, with Sam Morris all over his back bumper, and we get a perfect view of it here, riding along with Slade Gravett there in the 21 Spin Mobile for Wood Brothers Gaming. And he's watching here as Morris is all over the back bumper of Selby. They go through the S-turns there. Two completely different lines, and wow, great run by Slade. They're going to look to the inside of Morris. Will clear him. Great move there, but a high-low maneuver for Morris. He'll try and take back that 5th spot.
Boy, when you talk about hitting your marks perfectly to make a run, Slade Gravitt did exactly that. The Cumming Georgia driver makes the move and completes the move on the Chevy Goods number 5 of Morris. As we watch him battle at the bottom of the screen, you can see inside the cockpit. Look right into the eyes of the driver, watching their focus. Sam Morris, driver of the number 5, the lower left. Slade Gravitt, the lower right of the screen, watching as they work their wheel. And a race during this event for the Xbox gamers at Watkins Glen International. Good racing action so far. It's been a little deeper in the pack in the first race for the PS4 gamers, Rusty. A lot of it took place in our top 3 or 4 spots.
Yeah, it just shows you kind of how competitive these fields are from the front to back. Xbox, we're seeing the battles kind of happen where the people starting in the back are working their way forward. Like you see Nick Walker, they're up to 7th already. Slade Gravitt battling there. Slade, I'm actually, I was kind of shocked to see the in-car camera view. He's one of the calmest, just smoothest drivers I've ever been on the racetrack with. And he looked like a little animated, a little bit fired up, a little out of character. So, so far it's working for him as he's working his way forward as Sam Moore's falling a little bit back in the pack right now.
You know, road courses are a little bit out of character for most gamers when it comes to a lot of circle tracks. There's very few of the road courses that you compete at, especially in the NASCAR Heat Pro League, with only a couple road courses on the schedule. But one tonight with the NASCAR trucks makes things a little interesting because it's not the norm running the circle tracks like we see on a normal basis, Hannah.
That it's not, but that's what we like to do here on the eNASCAR Heat Pro League is shake things up. There's nothing consistent about it, and I think that's what sets these guys apart from everyone else out there. Is one week we might be on 1.5 miles in a cup car, the next week we're going left and right in trucks, and the next week we might be on a short track in Xfinity cars. So keeping these guys on their toes and continually proving why these are some of the best in the business. And again, Daniel Buttafuco, I want to point him out really quick, though. I know we're not watching him, Rusty, but you mentioned it swept the preseason. He has absolutely checked out here from the field. What happened over the offseason that this returner all of a sudden showed up and has been almost untouchable?
Yeah, talking to Daniel Buttafuco, our leader, every message he's sent to me, it always just ends with, I'm here to win. I want to win. Like, and like, you just want, and like, put a statement on it. And he's doing that through the preseason and these first 2 races. And I'm like, it's one thing to say you want to do it, but to go out there and literally lead like every lap and get these, be in contention for these wins. I'm just so impressed by the driver, Daniel Buttafuco. I'm just, it warms my heart, you know, because you talk to these guys and to see them actually all their time, their practice, the commitment start to pay off and get results. That's just a fantastic thing to see. So shout out to Daniel Buttafuco.
And he deserves it. He leads by almost 1.7 seconds. Right now watching the Oscar Mayer number 6 truck of Walker. We're watching from his truck now, running in the 7th position. We're looking forward to Gravitt's number 21. Talked earlier that Walker had to start at the back of the pack tonight. He's made up half of the spots, has moved into the front half of the field, 7th out of our 14 competitors at the Glen. 18 laps to go in this race. Closing in on that first pit window. Drivers going to be starting to make their way to pit road for the first of 2 pit stops in this race for the Xbox gamers. Rusty, that's coming up shortly.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's coming any lap here, and we saw that play a factor in the first race as Joey Stone kind of maybe stayed out 1 lap too many. Maybe he lost some time on the entry or exit of pit road. Looked like he maybe spun the tires in the exit. So there is time to begin coming in and leaving the pits, and it could, the whole thing could change strategy if he yellow comes out during the cycle of cautions. So I'm interested to see how this plays out with these battles mid-pack and throughout the race to see if we are going to get that 1 caution here tonight.
12 regular season races, a wild card race for a final chance to get in the championship, and then of course the championship race for a total of 14 weeks of excitement on our coverage. Tonight, just week number 2 from Watkins Glen for the NASCAR trucks as they are on track right now. And next week, it is the Xfinity Series going to be racing from Dover International a week from today on Wednesday night as Buttafuco leads, Zader in 2nd, Brooks in 3rd, Selby and Tedeschi rounding out the top 5. The Geico number 13 We saw it momentarily, Buttafuco
Ooh.
leading as we are starting to make pit stops, Hannah.
Buttafuco, one of those first ones to dip down pit road. We saw Matthew Heel in that 51 Rowdy Energy machine do it a little bit ago. So Buttafuco now leads that charge. Lewis Zader, Brooks, Selby, Tedeschi, Gravett. So the field now working its way down pit road. Do we have anyone that stays out? That we do. Looks like Riley Ogle has forfeited pitting. He will take another lap there and circle back through the field. So the front of the field now down pit road.
Yeah, just about everybody came to pit road that time. In our first race, we saw a driver stay out a little bit later in Stone. It didn't really hurt him that badly. Wasn't able to claim the victory, led a lot of laps in the meantime, and right now Ogle's trying to do similar here on the first round of pit stops. Ogle in this Little Joe's Auto number 32 truck out of Mount Vernon, Illinois. 16 laps to go in the event as they cross the line, and many are in the pits making their way back out onto the racetrack, and they'll try to get back up to speed and see who cycles out in front. Very likely could be Buttafuco, and it looks like that will be the case as he leads those that have come to the pit so far, Rusty.
Yeah, Buttafuco appears to have extended the lead. As the camera cut during the cycle pit stops, I thought maybe Louis Zader found an advantage on the pit road entry, and I thought it would have been a close battle for the lead, but Buttafuco, he's pulling away right now, up to 2.5 seconds. Matthew Selby back in will be third as the pit cycle through, but I'm impressed by Buttafuco. This is a domination right here, right now.
Running very well in that Geico machine. Out of East Brunswick, New Jersey, cycled all the way back up to third with the top two still yet to have to pit on this first round. We're riding on top of the spin, number 21 of Gravett out of Cumming, Georgia, crosses the line for another time, down to 15 laps to go. Gravett running right now in the 9th position, looking to make a move. 7th and 8th running right in front of him, the Oscar Mayer number 6 of Walker, as they're nose to tail, trying to close in on the tailgate of that machine, Hannah.
That he is trying to track down Walker like you'd mentioned, but in front of him, Brian Tedeschi, a returner for Penske Esports. And the beginning of last season, Penske Esports, man, was off to a hot start. Looked like they were going to be untouchable. And they got reeled in by another team, a couple teams actually, midway through the season. So Tedeschi looking for some strong runs early in the season to take Penske up in the driver points, and looking for some good runs for himself, as like we'd mentioned, driver points, they matter this season because it's going to come down to single drivers competing for that championship at the end of the year. But Slade Gravett now reeled in Walker all over the back bumper of him, looking to make a move for that 7th position.
Watching as they race now to the next corner where they enter about the same time. Nobody trying to outbreak the other at that point. On edge though, as we watch with 14 laps to go. Nose to tail, and that battle tightening up with a couple of trucks right in front of them as well. We might see some rough and tumble action in moments with down to the final 14 laps, Rusty.
Yeah, these guys, just because it's back in the pack doesn't mean they're giving it everything they have. The intensity is through the roof. They're fighting for points. They're fighting for money. And this is where the show is right here in the race. We're going to see the intensity pick up as we close down towards another round of pit stops. But the driver I'm really keying in on right now is Tyler Dohar. Of course, we got contact as we head towards the bus stop with Slade Gravett. And he's going to take a look. And he might have a little bit of contact as well as we're heading down into the carousel. This fight is not over.
Oh boy, Gravett was making the move there, running the 7th spot. Walker's moved up to 6th position. And the Oscar Mayer number 6 truck watching. They're still racing side by side. Right in front of them, Tedeschi in the Pennzoil Shell truck. And Dohar has made the move to pit road now. So he was up front. He's going to cycle deep down in the pack now, making a pit stop as Buttafuco leads the way. Zader has cycled back through into second, just 2 seconds behind. About 1.5, 1.6 behind, I think, before we went to pit road. So he's lost a little bit of time since then, but still within striking distance with any mistakes, Hannah.
Yes, and as you saw there, riding along with Selby as well as Brian Tedeschi. Lots of focus on those drivers' faces. Again, riding along with Slade Gravett here, trying to reel in Walker. Seems like he'll catch him and get to that back bumper and then lose him, but they're catching Tedeschi, so this may be a 3-truck battle now. allowing everyone to get in and battle a little bit closer. You can see in front of them, though, Justin Brooks checked out from them, as well as Lewis Zader, 2 seconds behind the leader of Daniel Buttafuco. So really the big battle on the racetrack right now is Tedeschi, Walker, and Gravett. Again, the battle heating up between Walker and Gravett, those two almost side by side through the corner, but it looks like Walker will still have that position over Gravett.
Buttafuco leading the way. The lead still at just over 2 seconds. It's pretty much stabilized between he and Zader. Zader running in the second spot. The Credit One number 42 machine. Brooks running third. Has made a good run now in the JTG. Doherty Throttlers number 37. The Cottonelle 37 entry. As we look again at it's number 6 of Walker. Plenty of track time, plenty of TV time tonight. He's moved up into the top 5 from all the way back in 14th. And Hannah, you said you've seen this play out in the past like that when he's had to start at the back.
That we have. We called it every single time, and we almost looked forward to it, as weird as that sounds. We looked forward to looking at the starting lineup and seeing Nick Walker at the back of it, because that usually meant he was going to be a man on a mission throughout the run. That he is tonight, up to that 5th position, trying to reel in Brian Tedeschi, and he keeps getting close. If a caution plays out, I think we'll see Nick Walker really take advantage of that. He fans all the way out on the corner there. Another great run. He is slowly inching in on Tedeschi, but at the same time, he's had to watch his rearview mirrors because Slade Gravett is right there as well.
Walker is kind of like the Kyle Busch of the NASCAR Heat Pro League, where Kyle does it with the real racing action in the NASCAR Gander RV and Outdoor Truck Series. We're watching as Walker gets ready to make a move for yet another spot. This the 4th position, heading into turn number 1. Should be able to do it. Still side by side. Tedeschi hanging on for the time being, and now has given up the position. Up to 4th goes Walker. Anna?
Walker on a move, like you mentioned, battling with Tedeschi there. Looks like he's going to try and reel in Brooks, but he's going to need a caution. Unfortunately for him, Brooks now with a pretty good lead over him in that 3rd position. But if a caution does fall, man, Walker could contend for the lead. Buttafuco has been virtually untouchable tonight here at Watkins Glen. And now we ride along with Slade Gravett, the youngster, last year's #1 draft pick, trying to make up some ground, catch Tedeschi, but he sits pretty sturdily in that 6th position.
Nose to tail, you see on the screen from the spin machine making a bold move and a run to the inside lane. Plenty of room given, maybe in fact a little bit too much. And Tedeschi will give up the spot. Tedeschi drops back to the 6th position, up to 5th, the spin 21 of Gravett. As battles continue just inside our top 5 and maybe changing hands again, crossing over, making a move into turn 1, Rusty.
This is unbelievable. It's heating up in the pack with Gravett, Walker, and Tedeschi. I'm just impressed. Like you guys mentioned, the MVP of this race has to be Nick Walker, putting on a show back to the front as we're riding on board here with Tedeschi in 6th place. I'm still kind of keeping my eye on Tyler Dohar back in 13th. Everybody told me you can't do this race in one stop. I still don't think it can happen, but anything can happen. Tyler Dohar might have the magic riding on board with them to make it to the end. And I know it might not be a race-winning strategy, but it could put him up in the top 3, top 5 in the standings to get the points and the money. And the guys told me last week at Homestead when it was a fuel mileage race, hey, it still pays a whole lot of money to finish where you finish, and by any means possible, baby. So I'm still keeping an eye on Tyler Dohar to see if he does have a little bit extra in that tank compared to the rest of these guys who are scheduled to make their pit stop, their final pit stop here in the next lap or 2.
Yeah, with a pit window of 9 to 10 laps for most drivers, going to be tough to stretch it for just a 1 pit stop race, that's for sure. Is there anything in particular you can do here at Watkins Glen International, driving one of these trucks, Rusty, to try to stretch it for just 1 pit stop?
You know, you basically got to give it every single trick you have, whether it's the gearing of the car, how much you're in the throttle, how aggressive you get in the gas, lifting early, using the brake, the trucks using their momentum, everything about it. It's a total package. These guys put in countless hours to perfect the fuel saving strategy in case a yellow does come out at an inopportune moment. These guys got to be prepared and ready, and Tyler Dohar is ready to do that at any racetrack. And but it's definitely an acquired skill that takes a lot of practice and intent to perform it on race day, because it's kind of a strategy that you pick and decide going into the race. And if you assume the race is going to go green, you might have to get creative if you start in the back of the pack, like Tyler Dohar did. But otherwise, if you're up in the front of the pack, you gotta they're going all out on a similar strategy right now as we're looking at that beautiful U.S. Air Force car of Diego Alvarado. I love that car.
Yeah, Alvarado running back there right now in the 8th position. That truck, sharp paint scheme, U.S. Air Force colors, as we watch now the Geico machine, the number 13. Running in the lead, Buttafuco has an advantage of 3.2 seconds now as that lead continues to extend. That takes a lot of pressure off of him having to be perfect, but he's been pretty well perfect. Laps now a truck in our starting field. Hannah, pit stops are underway for a lot of our competitors.
And this is where we might see Dohar's strategy play out. He was that lap truck that we just saw Buttafuco put a lap down. He was courteous, moved over, and now he'll cycle through the field as everyone, like you'd mentioned, starts to pit. We're going to see Tyler Dohar for Junior Motorsport tick his way up on the standings there. So Buttafuco, Zader down pit road, Diamond, Luis Ruiz, Matthew Heel, Sam Morris, all of them cycling through. So Tedeschi, the lone wolf out there, oh, there he goes, tucks down pit road. So he will cycle down pit road as well. 7 laps to go. This is where we could see Dohar pull out that good finish. But hey, don't look now. Nick Walker is going to cycle his way through and be at the front of the field.
Yeah, interesting to see Walker as we watch him cycle through. Was running in the 4th position when everybody made their pit stops, and now he's moving up the list as the drivers in front of him come to the pits. Buttafuco in the lead by 0.3 of a second over Ogle, Zader, then Brooks and Tedeschi on pit road right now. Walker running in the 6th position, but still will move up a few more spots as drivers continue to pit. Back to the leader there. You saw the Geico 13 coming down to complete another lap as Buttafuco leads the way going through the inner loop now with the advantage over Ogle, who has moved into the 2nd spot with no pit stop so far. Rusty, any surprises right now as we go down to the final 7 laps?
Justin Brooks, he did say coming to the race that he's not a road course specialist, but overall talent-wise, he can compete on any racetrack, 4 wins. I'm kind of shocked he will probably come home with 3rd, but Luis Zader, the rookie in the Chip Ganassi gaming car, this kid is super impressive. He and Daniel Buttafuco battled for the win and for the lead in every preseason race. Like, those are the 2 drivers I was keen in on for a regular season rivalry. I did mention Brooks and Buttafuco because they are up front, but Zader is carrying that rookie experience with Buttafuco, who is a seasoned veteran, into the prime time, and they're carrying over that I want to say a competitive rivalry, friendly rivalry, because they're always up there competing for the points and the money. So I'm just impressed with everything Luis Zader continues to do in that 42 car.
You mentioned money. This eNASCAR Heat Pro League event tonight from Watkins Glen, like our other 12 regular season races before we go to the wild card, as well as the championship race, each paying $2,000 to win, $1,000 for second, $500 for third. So these drivers are giving it their all. Down the stretch of the first race, we had a crazy last couple of laps, including the final quarter when Maxwell Castro ended up claiming the victory. Watch him go through the inner loop right now. 6 laps to go. Buttafuco still leads in the Germain Gaming number 13 entry, sponsored by Geico, where he's been all race long. Zader running in 2nd, Brooks running in 3rd. We're watching now 4th, Walker, and Walker right now in the 4th position where he was before pit stops. They find themselves pretty far back of Buttafuco and Zader, though.
Buttafuco and Zader, like you mentioned, have virtually checked out, but Walker and Gravett have been the battle of the evening. Those 2 continuing to swap positions. Walker now with the preferred position, and Gravett in his tracks. 5 laps to go, though. Can he pull together enough momentum to catch his back bumper and challenge Walker for that 4th position? But man, what a drive by Walker this evening, starting dead last, worked his way up to 4th, and really, I think he would have a chance to contend for one of those top 3 positions if he were able to move through the field a little quicker, or if we see a caution. But 5 laps to go, caution free thus far tonight at Watkins Glen.
Nose to tail there, the American Ethanol number 3 machine of Diamond running back in the field, the 9th position. Just behind Diamond is Ruiz, and there's a look at Diamond and Ruiz battling in their cockpits, going at it right now with 5 laps to go. 5 to go. Buttafuco leading the way, the lead just a little under 3 seconds. Zader running in the 2nd spot, but we're watching as Diamond and Ruiz look at Diamond even leaning into the corners, trying to do everything he can to make that truck handle just a little bit better as we're down to the final 4 laps of this one, Rusty. I don't know, Buttafuco, he's been pretty dominant so far. The lead is closed a little bit. The gap is down to 2.6 seconds.
Yeah, Buttafuco appears to be locked in, keeping the gap right at that distance the whole entire race. And I do got to go back and talk about Mitch Diamond back there, leaning like he's in the car, and his tongue was hanging out. That was really cool to see these drivers giving it literally everything they got. As we got a little dive bomb Mitch Diamond right on board right here. I'm shocked at this 3-wide action that's kind of appearing out of nowhere late in the race with 4 to go. Things are heating up back in about the 8th, 9th, 10th spot.
You think of how far we're into this race, and now we've got 5 trucks battling very hard. They happen to find each other on the racetrack, almost like the front of the pack during the PS4 race a little bit earlier. These are the Xbox gamers. This is back a little further in the field, side by side through the inner loop. It's tough to do that. The Rowdy Energy truck banging off the side of the American Ethanol truck. They keep them in the right direction, still going at it right now. They're outside the top 5, looking at about 8th, 9th, and 10th on our screen right now, Hannah.
Heel and Diamond were really getting into each other there as we ride along with Ruiz, but man, this group like a hornet's nest again. Whoa, close call by Diamond there as he goes across the front bumper of Heel, clears himself, able to put some distance between himself and Heel. But that group of trucks, like you mentioned, had just somehow found each other at 3 laps to go here. They're putting on a great race, being aggressive, which is something we normally don't see in your 8th through 12th positions, but these guys, every position counting. Again, it's a cumulative amount of points at the end of the segment, so they need to finish as good as they can every race to accumulate those points to be in contention. So looks like I could be speaking too soon. They've calmed down a little bit.
Lapeer, Michigan driver leading that pack is Mitch Diamond, and the American Ethanol number 3 truck running in the 7th position. And if he makes one mistake, he could lose about 5 or 6 spots here, and that would be a ton of points and very costly to him, and trying to get into the championship event at the end of the year, at least via the first segment. Cumulative points, as you talked about, and he's hanging on to 7th right now, down to the final 2 laps. We'll continue to watch these competitors because that's the closest battles on the track. Buttafuco's lead is back up to over 2.8 seconds over Zader. Brooks running 3rd, Walker running 4th, Gravett running in the 5th spot. Rusty, this is where the action is right now.
Yeah, and I believe it was Tyler Dohar was kind of the reason and the cause for the field stacking up a little bit. He was on that fuel-saving mode, so it stacked up the competitors behind him for a goal, and they sent it down into turn 1. Matthew Heel and Mitch Diamond, they're side by side about to go up the hill right now.
They are trading paint right now. There is no question. There's been a ton of damage to that Rowdy Energy 51 truck. You would think it may be hurting the handling characteristics of it, but he's been able to move up into the 7th position. That is Heel, driving the 51, part of the Gibbs Gaming racing team as they go through now the inner loop and back out. And so far, nicely done by Heel, holding off a strong pack of challengers. We are on the final lap from the Glen.
Tedeschi all over the back bumper of Diamond there, looking to make a move. Heel able to advance a little away from those two, but Tedeschi looks like he might make a move here to the inside of him. He goes, they'll go, holds on to a little contact there between them, try and cross over, not able to make it happen. Crazy racing for this group at the tail end of this race.
That it is, and they're pretty far back from the leader, Buttafuco, who crossed at the white flag a good while ago. See some contact taking place there. There's the leader, Buttafuco, going through the right and coming down to bring this Geico machine number 13 to the victory at Watkins Glen. Domination for Buttafuco out of East Brunswick, New Jersey tonight. The excitement in the lower left already climbing out. Hey, look out, you're going to crash your truck. As he's excited, and giving high fives, I think, to some of those that were watching him close up. Buttafuco, what a run tonight as we watch some of the other battles still coming to the finish. The American Ethanol #3 truck has slipped back Diamond to the 9th position, and it just shows how far this field was spread around the track and the dominating effort that Buttafuco has put on here this evening, Rusty.
Yeah, Buttafuco and Zader carry on that domination from the preseason and kind of stinking up the joint, at least for the lead, like you mentioned. But the competition throughout the field was incredible racing with Slade Gravett, Matthew Heel. I'm still a little bit disappointed. Nick Walker, he originally qualified 4th, missed the driver's meeting, starting the back, drove all the way up to 4th, which is incredibly impressive. But you got to think about what if the amount of points you miss, the money you're missing out on. Nick Walker, we got to get you in these races and starting up front to compete for these wins.
Don't be late to that driver's meeting. That was a very big key there. He was able to pick up 10 positions tonight, Hannah, but had he started up in 4th, with this race having no yellows, it didn't give him a chance to close that gap once he worked into the 4th position. Had he been able to start in 4th, he might have been up there trading some paint with that Germain Gaming Geico #13 machine, which ended up claiming the victory, a dominant one tonight for Buttafuco.
Yeah, you got to wonder if Nick Walker is kicking himself a little bit, like you'd mentioned, for missing that driver's meeting because he had that car or that truck hooked up this evening. Again, Watkins, Glen, and road course is really just something that we saw him hit on last season. But if he would have been there forward, or it would have been further up starting, he probably would have ran a little bit better and potentially been there to challenge Buttafuco.
All right, Hannah, we'll give you a second to run down to the virtual victory lane here at Watkins Glen International, claiming the victory tonight. Daniel Buttafuco out of East Brunswick, New Jersey. The Geico #13 was at the front of the pack from start to finish. And Hannah, take it away. Let's hear from Buttafuco.
And Daniel Buttafuco, your winner, joins me now here. And Daniel was one of my favorites to watch last season. First off, congratulations on that win. We loved the excitement. No one had anything for you. What's going through your mind during this race? You virtually checked out. What went into planning and getting that set up so hooked up?
Just good people. I'm just super thankful of this opportunity from Germain Gaming and Germain Racing, and just stuff like this, doesn't come all the time. These opportunities don't come so easy, and just really worked hard for it. And I got to thank my teammate Red, Kyle Arnold. Thank him so much for the great support along the way so far this season, and for all of his help and assistance. It means the world to me. I got to thank Geico for being an incredible sponsor. You could say 15% or more in car insurance, by the way. The Geico, of course, right here, he hung on pretty good there. Just really put a lot of effort into it. I said it last season, I just wasn't proud of my season. I wanted more. I just didn't feel like I performed that well. And, if the chance came again this season, then I was going to make sure that we won races. And I really wanted this one bad because from qualifying, we had a really good shot, and just means the world to me and more. Thanks. I got more thank yous. I got NASCAR Heat. Thank you so much for this incredible pro league. Got to thank Vanatech for these incredible wheels. I love them so much. You guys are doing the incredible commentary. You guys are awesome. Just a lot of great people involved in this. It's all about good people, and I feel like I'm surrounded by a lot of great people, and that's how this all came together. It's really emotional, really incredible. So I know I probably overreacted. I just tried so hard. I can't believe it. This is incredible.
Hey, we love it. Again, you're $2,000 richer. You got a win under your belt early on in the season. You proved yourself here with a new team. Congratulations on your win tonight at Watkins Glen.
Thank you so much. That'll be going towards future college endeavors. Thank you so much.
There you go. Smart spending there by your winner of Daniel Buttafuco, who won tonight's race, swept the preseason, did well the first race out at Homestead, and now captures that win. But we'll take a look here at the results on how the rest of your field finished at Watkins Glen in the Xbox race. You can see it, still emotion on that driver's face. We love seeing it. He was always one of my favorites to watch in the season last season, came back this year, and is on a tear.
That he absolutely is. Great race tonight for Buttafuco, the driver from New Jersey. Takes the trophy home to New Jersey as we look high above Watkins Glen International and the winner of our Xbox One matchup, Daniel Buttafuco. There's a look at our rundown of the race results. Lewis Zader finishing second. Justin Brooks, Nick Walker, Slade Gravett finishing in the top 5. Selby and Heel finishing 6th and 7th. Heel was involved in that Rowdy Energy number 51 in that great battle from about 5th on back. Rusty taking a look at the rundown from 8 to 14.
And we have Brian Tedeschi 8th, Mitch Diamond, an impressive run. Diego Alvarado, it looked like an incident late that cost him like maybe 4 or 5 positions. So unfortunate for Diego in the points and for the wallet. Tyler Dohar brings home an 11th on the fuel strategy. Jose Ruiz, Riley Ogle, Sam Morris. Curious what happened to Sam Morris. He started up front, but finished 3 laps down.
Amazing races tonight from Watkins Glen International. The first one, a battle up front. The second race, domination. As we now take a look at the unofficial driver standings. Very important. And we've got a virtual tie at the top, just like we have in the PS4 gaming. A tie for the championship battle right now. The segment 1 battle that would put a driver into the championship. Justin Brooks, Daniel Buttafuco, getting it done so far early this season, Hannah.
Those two, I think, are going to be ones to watch throughout the entire season. Both returners with different teams and great drivers all together. The young gun of Slade Gravett, like you'd mentioned, Wood Brothers Gaming in that 3rd spot. I think we'll see him really catch fire later in the season and move up. But taking a little bit further back look in the driver standings, newcomer Mitch Diamond with RCR is in 8th. And Brian Tedeschi, Penske Esports, needs to pick up a little ground there in 9th in the back of the field there. Jose Ruiz with Levine Family Gaming. And in 14th, Sam Morris with Hendrick Motorsports. He'll have to make up some ground as well.
So very important driver standings with ties at the top of both of our gaming consoles. Right here, Chip Ganassi Gaming leading the team standings by 2 at 103 to 101 over Germain Gaming. The JTG Doherty Throttlers, they're 3rd in the standings with 99 points. Wood Brothers, Hendrick, RCR, Stewart Haas Esports making up the first half of our standings heading into round 3 next week. There's the rest of our top 14. Yep.
You got Petty Esports in that 8th position. Go Fast Gaming out in 10th. At the back of the pack, Junior Motorsports, though, off to a rough start thus far. Only 2 races in, though, so we've got 2 more during this that those drivers can pick up some points there. Levine Family Gaming also looking up to make some ground. So some drivers that are really going to have to start making some moves to get that team a little bit farther up in the point standings.
We'll be back at it a week from tonight. On Wednesday, May 6th, coverage begins at 8 p.m. Eastern Time as the gamers will be heading to Dover International Speedway. Rusty, the Xfinity Series gets a chance to race.
Oh, yeah, the Xfinity Series might be the best car of choice to show up at Dover. This is going to be an unbelievable event. I'm already ready. I want them to go right now. I want to see another race. But Dover is going to promote fun action and excitement like they do every time in the NASCAR Heat Pro League.
That it will. It's been an exciting night from Watkins Glen, New York, where we saw 2 winners claim victory, and I'm no longer censored, by the way. As I was at the start of the program, we're fine-tuned in now. I have a working video camera, and it's ready to go, I think, for week number 3. I'm excited to see racing from Dover. Dover's always an exciting racetrack.
You got out of the doghouse about halfway through that race, so we're glad to have you so we can see you here, Adam, and looking forward to going into Dover. It's been great all evening long. We saw incredible racing, and we saw even more of some rivalry spark. I know that Castro didn't mean to get into Arnold like that. He said they were buddies, but hey, racing is racing. This could carry over to Dover, another short track, high speeds, but requires a little elbows to be used. So looking forward to going short track racing, as we like to call it, in just under a week.
Rusty, elbows might be thrown a little bit next week, so it'll be fun to watch, I think.
It's just how I like it. Rubbins racing, the action with the best drivers in the world. I'm telling you, I want to see more of this. I'm going to go online after this broadcast, play some NASCAR in the public lobbies. This was, what a night. We saw probably the best heat race I've ever seen in my life. Oh man, what a race to be a part of and share with you guys. Thank you.
Well, it's been great to be with you as well in round number 2 of 14 this year, counting the wild card race and counting the championship race. And we'll be back at it a week. Look forward to working with you again. On behalf of Hannah Newhouse and Rusty Walrus, I'm Adam Mackey, and on behalf of the rest of the folks from the eNASCAR Heat Pro League, saying so long from Watkins, Glen.
Rated E for everyone.